Continuamos aquí en el evento de IOTA en Las Vegas y este es un gran momento para nosotros poder platicar con Ken Patchett. Él es responsable en una compañía que se llama Lambda, donde tienen 3 gigawatts de potencia trabajando en sus centros de datos. Ken, thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us today, talking about the data center world.
I'm glad to be here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Can you explain us a little bit more about your background? You have a lot of experience about the data centers over the last 25, 30 years, right?
Sure, yeah, about 25 years or more. I started very, very early in pre-hyperscaler space. So I helped build the first Microsoft data center in Bothell, Washington. Mm-hmm. And from there, I built and managed, ran and operated network organizations, data center repair groups. But I built, managed, ran and operated data centers for Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Amazon over the last many years. And now I'm with Lambda, an emerging hyperscaler, and taking all the things that we learned about how to be the most efficient stewards of electrons we consume is pretty important for us to do. And we really do believe that access to technology should be a fundamental human right. And we're building a platform that this infrastructure allows tens of thousands of businesses to operate on and do great things for the world. And the platform's important for us.
Great. In all these years of experience that you have, do you think this is the most important moment that you have seen in the last 25 years in changes of technology?
I should be really clear. It took 1,200 years. I get emotional about this. 1,200 years for the Bronze Age to move to the Steel Age. Technology has had one fundamental impact on humans. It's our ability to share our thoughts and our knowledge and our hopes and dreams more fast and broadly than ever before. Change is happening so fast right now. We've been in the information age for 75 years, and we've been in the network part of that for about 35 years, or the internet part of that for about 35 years. We're super fortunate. We get to shepherd in the age of intelligence. And it's really important that the infrastructure exists so that access to technology is truly a fundamental human right. And we believe that so strongly that we want to build this infrastructure so that we can bring this technology to everybody.
Well, this is very important to understand the way you see the approach for the technology. What do you think is the main challenge for people? Not you're talking about for humanity. What do you think is the main challenge that we have for teams and leadership in specifically in this era that we're living in our space?
I think it's important to understand that data centers in large part haven't changed much for 20 years. The same data centers that I built when I was younger, the same data centers I'm retrofitting and I'm innovating is what we call it. We call it innovation. That means I'm bringing a little more power, a little more cooling, or I'm tweaking something. I'm still squeezing the same sponge and getting the same little water droplets out. In 2024, the ability to do that actually changed dramatically. The density of the hardware and the evolving nature of the hardware is happening so quickly that we can't keep up. I can't put hardware that's in 2025 and 2026 into a data center that was built in 1996 anymore without really extensive work and retrofit, and it just doesn't work out. So our technological advancement has happened so fast that in 2024, I had to start making new data centers. And in 2025, I actually doubled. I went to 50 kilowatt racks, and then I went to 130 kilowatt, and then I'm 240 kilowatt racks. 240 kilowatt racks in a year and a half, when I went from 2 kilowatt to 16 kilowatt racks, and it took me 20 years to do that. That's the problem, the scale problem that we have. We are moving so quickly, and the data center's DNA cannot keep up with the DNA of hardware anymore. NVIDIA is turning out every 6 to 9 months something new and something better, and it matters. And so if I build a data center that takes me 5 years from start to finish, I have maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 iterations of hardware. Have I built the right data center to support this new hardware? Very likely not. So we need to not innovate anymore, meaning squeeze the same sponge. It's time to transform the industry. It's time to think differently about how data centers are built. Why do I need a building, a box? Well, I need a box right now because it keeps rain and things off of my equipment, right? I need this box because financiers finance boxes, right? What if we did something differently? And like we were talking on this panel, what if we truly transformed the way we're thinking about building, managing, running, and operating data centers to support today's technology into tomorrow. Tomorrow comes fast and the waves of change are moving so quickly, it's hard to predict what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it's hard to predict, and especially tomorrow, you have a presentation about 1 mega rack.
1 megawatt racks.
1 mega rack racks.
Yes.
Yeah. What is all about that?
The product that gets created through GPUs is it requires many GPUs working together, like in a high compute platform, and they need to be very close together to keep the same speed, to keep the same feed of the output. So when chips move further apart, they work slower. So it's really important to understand you're doing quadrillions and quadrillions of executed processing. And to do that, they have to be very close together. The further apart they are, the longer it might take to do that. So when you think about the big work we're doing, the science that is happening with large language learning models, and the science that we're doing to find a cure for cancer, right? Or to find a way to make water safer for somebody, we're using these large language learning models. They have to be very, very fast. And to be fast, they have to be very close together, because our technology is such that these GPUs have to live within, a meter or so of one another. So that makes us need to create really dense racks. And then so that's a lot of power, and then that's a lot of cooling, and then there's a lot of heat that you have to remove because of that. No data center that has been built historically pre-2024 is capable of doing that.
That's true. And what do you seek from your point of view for some of the Latin American guys building data centers? What's your main recommendation? Some of them ask if they have to build it without raised floor, which is something that we have seen in the last decade, maybe. What's your main recommendation? You've been in operation for a long period of time.
My main recommendation is this. To build the shell of a building is actually inexpensive. To strand,
the core and shell, you mean?
Yeah, the core and shell. To strand the power inside of them is very expensive. So assume like this. If I believe I'm going to have a really dense GPU compute platform that takes 5,000 square feet of data center space, and I build only 5,000 square feet, I may use all of the power in that 5,000 square feet, but I may not. If I strand that power, meaning I paid for it, I built it, I put it together, but I ran out of room to put in more compute, so I can't use the power, I've been fiscally irresponsible. So we have to build a data center such that I can have varying levels of density within my racks. Some racks will be 15 kilowatts, some racks will be 240 kilowatts. And the mix of them actually determine how much room or floor space I need. So as I move forward, if I gave any input, first is, raised floor is pretty tough to deal with. It causes delays and there's a lot of weight that you have to work with. So build high. Build space where you have a concrete floor and I'm at least 20 feet from floor to ceiling, so that I have room to put all of my overhead, my mechanical, my electrical, everything above these racks. That makes a very, very fast build, right? But it also gives you a lot of flexibility because it's all outside of the ground and it's in a place that you can adjust the elements of the data center relatively quickly. So build high, build on a concrete floor, but also take this one fundamental tenet. My job is to use every kilowatt of power that I deploy. So it's cheaper to leave open, empty data center space. So build a bigger shell than what you think you need.
So you have space available?
So that you have the space available for the changing densities. If I build everything for a 1 megawatt rack, and then as we discussed in the conversation here, what if some new technology occurs that now makes me not need a 1 megawatt rack? But I built a data center that can only support that. I need that data center to be flexible so I can disaggregate that 1 megawatt and I can put, instead of like one big rack that takes, 50 meters or 50 square feet, and then I can turn that into 15 racks, right? If I don't have the floor space for those 15 racks, I'm not going to be able to do my job. So you need to build a building that actually is flexible and you can change the elements of the data center instead of the entire data center.
That's a good advice. Otro de los puntos importantes es el uso del agua, los recursos. Vamos a conocer cuál es su punto de vista. One of the main concerns is about natural resources, water. Do you think water is an aspect that we have to put under consideration for building a data center?
Oh, I think it is.
Why?
In order to bring technology forward, it takes resources. And it's important to be the most effective stewards of the resources that you're going to consume. We need to build data centers in the best possible way. I want to be clear that at Facebook years ago, we did a carbon study, and we found that using Facebook for 1 year, our big data centers had the equivalent carbon impact as one latte from Starbucks. So if you just on March 1st every year did not order a latte, you could use Facebook for a year and not negatively impact the carbon environment, right? Data centers, although are heavy consumers of the resources, they also stop a lot of other things that used to happen. Like we don't have to get on airplanes and fly and see each other all the time. We get online and we're actually talking as if we're there, and we get a lot of work and things done. So I think it's there's a translation that's starting to happen. What used to happen historically changes now. So I think there's a lot of trade-offs that are going to happen related to what humans used to do versus what humans are doing right now because of data centers. But our job is to be the most effective stewards of the resources that we consume. In some areas, there's water and there's water availability. In other areas, they're not, right? So where you can use that, you still have to be a good steward, but you should use that. And where it's not readily available, there's other things that you can do like dry cooling and different technologies. It's important that we continue to transform our industry and we come up with new technologies, new ways of doing things. If we impact a water supply that's negatively for the people that live in an area, that's not exactly what we wanted to do, right? So we have to be efficient stewards of these resources, and we are, because let's be clear, it makes no sense for a data center company to go build a big data center and then find out that they're all built with water and they don't actually have access to water. It hurts everybody, right? So I would say that you have to do this with an open mind, and you have to do this with the idea that you're a user and you are a creator of these data center space, but you're a user of resources. And I just keep saying it, you have to be an efficient steward of them. It matters. It matters how you behave, how you think. So at Lambda, we choose partners that are very conscious related to the environmental
sustainability, right?
They have to be. And even if, let's say, today, that's not the biggest problem that everybody is looking toward because they're looking for speed. That's no excuse to not actually continue to focus on sustainability. So I pick my partners such that I build that competence into our company's footprint and our platform by choosing companies that actually do take a lot of care and attention when they're building their data centers. And that's, we have many, many data center partners.
Yeah, I see it. And talking about a little bit more about Lambda, you have 3 gigawatt data centers, right?
No.
Oh, how many?
We have megawatts and megawatts of data center space deployed, and we plan to deploy a lot more.
A lot more. How do you plan, or what do you think is the trend, not only for Lambda, for the market, and especially in energy basically? You see liquid cooling more mature, and BESS, the BESS technology as well for battery energy storage?
BESS works pretty good. What I see again is continual innovation in the space related to how we use these resources. The data centers being built today, the AI data centers, they have a different power profile, and so they require like a different power backup system.
The peaks, right?
They peaks and they have valleys, and we need to figure out how to shave those peaks off. And it takes an industry to do this. Not one company is going to do this. We're all going to be working together, like you heard on the panel. We all have ideas and ways that we want to do these things. But I do see AI data centers fundamentally changing the way we thought about data centers in the past. Many people are moving to behind the grid. Many people are moving to the fact that I don't have to go to a power utility company and ask for peak demand because I'm going to do on-site power generation. And that on-site power generation today is natural gas in large part.
Gas, not nuclear power.
Yeah, not nuclear power is fantastic. It's just not available for us yet, And I think again, when humans put their mind to something, they can make it happen. And the years is really more the environmental requirements to do this. We have to get through regulatory processes and things like that in the U.S. So we have to open up the door for all these things, but how do we get there now without negatively impacting the grid? Well, we have to do on-site power generation. We have to work closely with the utilities. And because of this, everybody gets better, because we're all trying to do something and it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're learning together how to do this. I don't want to put a data center in and negatively impact, let's say, John Q. Public, that's local. But in fact, that doesn't happen. You realize that every hyperscale data center company that deploys, they pay 100% of what they're doing. Every power transmission line, everything that happens is borne by the hyperscaler. It's not borne by the utility and passed off as rates to the people. However, you don't want to tax the grid either, where it forces a different narrative for the power company. So we want to do on-site power generation to handle that peak shaving. We want to make sure that we can get to yes with the utility company. And so oftentimes when you are looking for power, you'll be, I want peak demand. So let's say I use 100 megawatts. There might be some time during the course of the year where the power company can't deliver you 100 megawatts. So if you say, okay, I want just demand and I can do on-site power generation when you are on a lower demand profile. So maybe they can deliver only 90 or maybe they can deliver only 80 megawatts. If you're able to make that power up on your site, then you've actually worked together really well and you're utilizing the infrastructure that's deployed. So again, you can't do this by yourself. You have to work both with the utility, the regulatory groups, and all of the other data center people that are out here. There's a lot of really smart people working on this. And our whole job is to not negatively impact the grid, but to make the grid more robust. And data centers coming in and doing the work that we're doing right now, we're working towards that end. Making it better.
Yeah, making it better, and sounds good for everyone. And last but not least, what's your main recommendation when we're building a data center, especially in data centers below 10 gigawatts, 10 megawatts, let's put it that way. What's your main recommendation? Because average is for enterprise is 10 megs and below, which is average, not the hyperscalers like yours.
Yeah, well, think about aggregated edge is really what we're talking about here. And these are data centers that are under 100 megawatts, right? So you can go anywhere from like 2 to 75 megawatts. Think about it like the aggregated edge, the enterprise level people that are going to take the large language learning models that are coming. We're creating the product that is being used by the enterprise. They're going to take small little spaces in these data centers where their workloads are going to happen. So we call that the aggregated edge. So I would tell you, my recommendation is build a multi-density data center footprint where I have 5 kilowatt racks all the way to 250 or 1 megawatt rack capabilities. And I think you're going to see those really start to be all over the place. Right now you have big data centers, you think about just like NFL cities. But I think what we're going to see going forward are these buildings that look just like any other office building to most people. And they're going to be these multi-density data centers. So I think the aggregated edge is really going to be the thing that starts happening soon. Because a large language learning model, right now we're learning how to use these models and make these models. When we make the products off of those models is when the enterprise players are going to come into existence. And they're going to start having 3 or 4 or 5 racks for, let's say, a company like Midcap or like State Farm. They'll have something like that in one of these aggregated edge data centers. And I think we're going to see a lot of enterprise level companies doing that. So we need to have those data centers ready to meet their demand, and it's coming.
You see a hybrid, last question, hybrid systems, air and liquid coming?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I see hybrid systems coming. We have to build to be flexible. When I talked about the elements of data centers, you know, some things are going to need more water, some are going to be less. Well, I should say liquid to chip. Some need more, some need less. Some need more air, some needs less air. And they're sitting side by side. So we definitely have to build this flexibility into our system. And in a multi-density data center, that's exactly what you have, because you don't know what your customer is going to bring. And we're not really sure what the technological advancement's going to do to the density. It may decrease it, it may increase it. But we have to be, again, efficient stewards of building data centers. Those are resources. We need to build a data center that has that elemental flexibility built into it. And so that's what we're working on with Lambda right now.
Very good. Lambda is working as well in this type of technologies, and it keeps growing, right? Lambda keeps growing.
We're born and raised by machine learning engineers, and we are filling up with people who have been to scale and back, and we know where the mistakes were made in the past, and we're really taking that to build our infrastructure. We're going to do it well.
Awesome. Building efficiency, as what I see. Muchas gracias por el tiempo. Es un placer platicar contigo. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll keep in
Thank you.
touch.
It's good to talk with
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.